Casco Viejo is the oldest and one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Panama City. But trendy fashionistas, hipsters, and wealthy tourists from around the world are now some of the area's most visible residents. Anchoring the neighborhood is the American Trade Hotel, a design icon that has quickly become one of the hottest properties in town. Our correspondent Harris Whitbeck went to Panama City to see how investors are trying to restore Panama's Casco Viejo to its former glory.
Just a few years ago, foreign tourists like these would not have been seen exploring this neighborhood in Panama City. It was simply too dangerous. Casco Antiguo, the oldest part of the city. At one point, the territory of some of the most violent street gangs in the country. Life was lived on the edge, amid poverty, filth, crime. But Casco Antiguo is the home of some of the most extraordinary examples of architecture in the Americas. Baroque churches stand next to Art Deco buildings. Caribbean gingerbread homes next to 19th century warehouses. The diversity in its architecture is just one of the reasons the Casco was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003. A designation it came close to losing in 2010 when the crime and urban decay started eating the neighborhood away. But a few years ago, things started to change in Casco Antiguo.
I think the history of this neighborhood is one of diversity, and I think that's one of the things UNESCO pointed out, why it was declared a World Heritage Site, because its diversity really shows this sort of history of East-West trade in the Americas. It went through a period, it was, a fairly wealthy area at some periods of history, and it was very depressed at other periods. It kind of bounced back and forth, and you can see that in the buildings. Recently, in the last 50 years, it went through a low period. Now it's coming back.
Neighbors came together to bring it back to life.
Looking about how we could make...
Casey Harden is an American attorney who fell in love with Panama on a surfing trip in 2003. He loved it so much, he stayed, and became one of several Panamanian and foreign entrepreneurs who decided to invest in Casco Antiguo, applying a model of urban development that is unique because it is so inclusive.
It just kind of happened. There's always going to be... So one of the beauties of community at this scale is that it's a very human scale. You walk the streets every single day. You interact with people. You're neighbors with people. You live next to where you work, and most people here do. So people find a way to get along. When they're in that type of a human scale environment, they just tend to find a way to get along. It's human nature. So I can't tell you that we, had big tensions. I think that it's a community that tries to be empathetic, and we know that we have a lot of problems in this community. We know that these problems are threatening to different parts of the community. And I think one of the defining things about this neighborhood is that people really do try to take responsibility for this community's problems and look for ways to solve them without throwing the problem off to the government or to somebody else.
Casey and his partners formed a company that is revitalizing many of the neighborhood's buildings. But they are making sure social development follows.
Profits with a purpose. We build luxury condominiums, and for every high-end condominium, we build an affordable unit. So it'll be a range of, 600,000 to $1 million on one side and 60,000 to 100,000 on the other. Those are the kind of things that a private business can do to try and contain the externalities of displacement. Investing in cultural activities that aren't necessarily, if you look below, you'll see we have a liquor store in one commercial space, pays a high rent. We have an art gallery next door to it, pays a lower rent. Those two things somehow balance each other out.
Matt Landau is another newcomer who is facilitating change. He too went to Panama on a holiday and decided to stay. He now helps facilitate programs aimed at involving neighbors and work programs to improve their communities. One of them is called Buenas Obras, or Good Deeds.
Okay, so this is the Buenas Obras store. That's the Good Deeds shop.
Good Deeds shop.
Yeah, it's our little solution to solve the problems that our neighborhood has with something we have in excess, which is basically donations and extra stuff that people have lying about. This is the store in which those items are donated. And once you have wonderful items in the shop that kids and people who don't have work jobs want, you're able to leverage their capital.
And so basically what you've created here is almost like a microeconomic system by which people do good deeds and they like monetize their good deeds so that they can buy things they need.
Yeah, so the beauty of the actual products that could be purchased in a store is that here they are priced at 1/2, proportionally speaking. So that this formula, for instance, that would cost, I don't know, $5 in the store, here costs $2.50 Buenas Obras, which means that our Buenas Obras currency is actually in a lot of ways more valuable than the actual dollar.
So in the bigger picture, what is this an example of? I mean, how does what's happening in Casco Viejo in general relate to this specific?
I think this project is a microcosm. It's a manifestation of the way that this neighborhood thinks. It's very unusual. It's not textbook. It's never been really taught anywhere. But we are very creative when we come up with solutions. And in this case, it's a bunch of people who had a bunch of stuff lying around, a little bit of a space, and individuals like Alexis that have decided to give back a little bit as well.
Alexis Quintero is a former drug dealer who served time in prison. When he got out, he returned to his neighborhood, looking for ways to turn his life and that of his community around. He was one of the original members of Buenas Obras, and now spends much of his time organizing his neighbors to do good deeds.
Era una persona aislada de la sociedad, no confiaba en la sociedad. Siempre había las puertas cerradas, siempre había que ir a la mala. Y luego me puse a analizar con el tiempo, pues más por mi hijo, que no era positivo pensar de esa manera y que puede estar todo malo, pero uno puede buscar algo bueno, siempre hay algo bueno. Entonces tratar de ¿cómo se dice?, desarrollar aquello. Y eso es lo que me ha hecho ser ahora lo que soy. Cada día cambio porque uno no cambia totalmente. El que dice que ha cambiado de hoy para mañana es algo vacío. Uno poco a poco va cambiando, va elevando los valores, va teniendo otras metas.
There are examples of change all over the Casco. Like the walking tours now offered around the neighborhood. The groups are led by former gang members. Kids who once assaulted tourists now show them their homes.
En otros tiempos nosotros en realidad hacíamos las cosas de maneras negativas. Hoy en día las hacemos de forma positiva, donde ya nuestra manera de vivir ya no es la misma, ya no es igual. Ya no pensamos en levantarnos, en querer robarle a un turista, sino hoy en día de hacerle un tour a aquellos que nos visitan dentro de nuestro casco antiguo.
Donde gracias a Dios soy una persona sociable hoy en día, que me dedico a hacer la cosa positiva dentro de mi comunidad. Cada día más y no mirar hacia atrás, sino mirar hacia adelante.
Es una decisión personal en cuanto a lo que uno por el sistema, que de ver que nuestro amigo o vecino creció de una manera, entonces eso influenciaba hasta el sentido de que uno, bueno, también optaba por la misma actitud o condición de también ser un pandillero o pertenecer a una pandilla o ser un maleante.
Pero era porque veían que no había otras alternativas.
Las alternativas siempre han existido, pero eso es lo que estaba en nuestro entorno. ¿Sabes? Porque a la verdad he conocido personas, amigos, de que crecieron con nosotros, pero hoy en día son una persona totalmente diferente a la que nosotros en un momento determinado fuimos. Así que no es cuestión de que no había alternativa, sino es que uno mismo, de manera voluntaria o propia, uno toma esa decisión.
Una vez se gradúan, esta es opción, el que quiere ser empresario, el que quiere tener su propio negocio o el que quiere que lo pongan a trabajar, que son como también dos versiones, ¿no? En ambos casos, si se formaliza el negocio, si se formaliza el empleo, básicamente se le buscan plazas de trabajo para que formalicen su empleo y tengan a la vez una manera de garantizar su ganancia y así de cierta manera poder pedir un préstamo o pedir financiación de lo que necesiten. O aparte presentan entonces el proyecto del negocio que quieran emprender. La mayoría de ellos, los que han sido líderes de una pandilla, deciden emprender su propio negocio. Eso ha pasado con casos muy específicos, pues porque tienen ese don de querer dirigir su propia empresa, dirigir gente, dirigir su negocio. Una vez presentan su idea, se les ayuda a estructurar como un plan de negocios, para que entiendan un poquito cómo son las etapas de este proceso y vean cuánto les va a costar emprender el negocio. El negocio muchas veces cuesta dinero y la mayoría de las veces esta financiación se le hace a través de la fundación, que la fundación o directamente la fundación que ha recibido donaciones privadas o de directamente personas que deciden apoyar un proyecto porque sienten algún tipo de relación. Sí tenemos una cantidad de donantes, una cantidad de personas que tienen relación con la fundación, que siempre están muy interesados en saber qué está pasando para aportar ya sean ideas, mentorías, conocimiento o dinero. Hay algo de apoyo de empresa privada también, pero realmente el trabajo del día a día sí es un trabajito muy de hormiga, realmente. Es muy humano, muy de tú a tú. Y creo que también eso también les da un poquito más de confianza a cada uno de los emprendedores o nuevos empresarios para sentirse cómodos en ese cambio tan radical que están teniendo en sus vidas.
The mentor lives in the neighborhood as well. The changes in Casco Antiguo are made possible because all the neighbors, old-timers and newcomers alike, are taking responsibility for its future.
We describe it as sustainable revitalization. So I think the model that you see, typically in urban revitalization is this model where culture and commerce, and they play very well together and they create a critical mass very quickly. But that's a very exclusive blend. And it tends to be that the rising tide kind of just washes away a lot of the existing human heritage, the people that had been there, maybe not from the beginning, but they had been there for 20, 30, 40 years, and though that you get that people are displaced, but you also get a cultural homogeneity that happens. And eventually the place loses its interest to even the people who were part of that revitalization. So the opportunity now that we've seen that happen in so many other places is to see if you can get this idea of social progress to be the third line to intersect, so that the rising tide actually lifts more boats. It's an inclusive revitalization. It's social inclusion, and it manifests itself in training, it manifests itself in job creation, it manifests itself in affordable housing, it manifests itself in preferring local businesses, rent. The big thing is really just getting people to have an equity stake in it. If they have an equity stake, then the rising tide is good for them. And you need a lot of different tools and mechanisms to make that happen.
Tools the people of Casco Antiguo have found within themselves.